Today, we're digging into one of the most powerful and, honestly, most complex characters in all of Norse mythology, the Valkyrie Brynhildr. Her story is just this fascinating look at how a legend can totally transform over time, shifting from something ancient and cosmic to something deeply and painfully human.
So, what happens when a myth gets a rewrite? We tend to think of these stories as being carved in stone, right? But the truth is, they're living things. And characters we think we know often have these older, sometimes much stranger, versions of themselves hidden away. Brynhildr is the perfect example of this. Her evolution tells us just as much about the people telling her story as it does about her.
And this really lays it all out. On one hand, you've got the original Brynhildr, basically a supernatural force of nature, an instructor of divine knowledge. But on the other hand, you have the rewrite, a complex, tragic heroine completely driven by betrayal and love. So let's break down how we got from point A to point B. We're going to start with the oldest version of the character we have, from this incredible collection of poems called the Poetic Edda. This is Brynhildr at her most mythic. I mean, she is far more of a goddess here than any mortal woman.
Now, here's the thing you've got to get. In these early layers, her meeting with the hero Sigurd is not a love story, not even close. It's a formal, almost ritualistic transmission of sacred knowledge. She's the victory driver, a divine being who teaches him the secrets of the runes. Her whole purpose is wisdom, not romance.
This early Brynhildr is a creature of Urlog. Think of it like this cosmic, inescapable fate. Her story is all about her relationship with the god Odin and what the source material calls her original sin. It's an act of disobedience that ties her to a destiny that's way beyond human concerns. She's a piece in a divine game.
Okay, now let's fast forward to the 13th century and the Volsunga saga. This is where those stark, ancient poems get woven together into one single, flowing story. And in the process, they completely reshape Brynhildr for a new medieval audience, making her someone we can recognize as, well, human.
You can see the whole focus just shifts. It's not about a broken oath to a god or some grand cosmic injustice anymore. No, the saga writers zoom right in on the emotional agony of a betrayed woman. They frame it as a courtly web of deception, which is something that would have really resonated with a medieval audience. Man, this quote just nails it, doesn't it? That primordial, terrifying figure of icy sorrow is given this new psychological depth. She's still absolutely fierce, for sure, but her motivations are now coming from a relatable inner life, from love, from jealousy, and from humiliation.
So, how did the storytellers pull this off? How do you take this cosmic tale and ground it in real human drama? Well, they took two key plot devices and really elevated them: a cursed ring and a very elaborate dissection. Just look at the role of the ring and Vurnout. In the early poems, it's just one part of a dragon's cursed treasure. But in the Volsunga saga, it becomes the central catalyst for the whole tragedy. It's not just some cursed object anymore. It's the tangible, physical proof of Sigurd's betrayal. It's the mortal anchor for a supernatural story.
And the deception itself? It gets a huge dramatic upgrade. It becomes this classic chivalric plot. A hero can't complete a quest, so another hero does it for him in disguise. Sigurd, shapeshifted as the Lord Gunnar, is the one who wins Brynhildr and takes her ring. And when the truth finally comes out, that ring is the symbol of her entire world just shattering.
And this quote right here gets to the absolute heart of her psychological trauma in the saga. Her original divine punishment from Odin gets reframed as a deeply personal violation. The very oaths she lived by were used to trick her. And that turns this cosmic fate into a very mortal vendetta. Her falling silent, her refusal to eat, it's all shown with this haunting realism that just highlights her total alienation.
This transformation, this total character makeover, it continues right to the very end. Even her death, her suicide on a funeral pyre, is completely reframed in the later saga to serve this new human-focused story. So, in the early poems, her suicide is a stark, grim act of honor. It's a ritualistic necessity. But the saga? Oh, it transforms it into a grand, romantic climax. It's not just an ending anymore. It's a final, desperate act of claiming her own identity and achieving this tragic union with Sigurd in death.
The saga even gives her this detailed last testament. I mean, she doesn't just die, she directs her own death with supreme agency. She arranges the pyre, she places the sword, she commands everyone around her. Her death becomes an active theater, making sure her will is the final word.
So, what's the big takeaway here? This shift matters because the evolution of Brynhildr, it isn't just about one character. It actually reflects a massive change in storytelling itself and in what audiences wanted from their heroes.
Her journey from this divine force to a tragic woman, it shows us a change in consciousness. Storytellers and their audiences started moving away from tales governed by these distant, incomprehensible gods. They moved towards stories defined by human choices, human emotions, and human tragedy.
I just love how the source material puts this. The early poems give us the flawless foundation. That's the mythic blueprint of this powerful Valkyrie. The later saga then builds upon it, creating the magnificent absurdity of her complex, tragic, and very human life. And you really need both to understand her.
And that, right there, is her incredible legacy. She exists in two forms at once. She is a creature of the cold runes, an ancient symbol of divine fate, and at the same time, she is the heroine of the burning prose, a timeless icon of romantic tragedy.
And it leaves you with a final thought, doesn't it? Brynhildr's story was rewritten to fit the values of a new era. So it makes you wonder, how many other heroes and villains that we love have a secret, older self just waiting to be rediscovered in the layers of the past?